Good afternoon and welcome to yet another episode of Mr. Long Island's Search for Truth and Beauty. This show that the internet program that looks at truth and beauty for Long Island, truth being issues that need to be discussed to ensure our vitality going forward, and beauty is things that are happening on Long Island that make things really special. My name is Michael Watt, aka Mr. Long Island. Our guest this week is Claudine Jalajas. I've been practicing all the way over here. It's beautiful. Claudine has written something that I'm really very knowledgeable about. It's called Beaded Bracelets. We're going to get to that. There's a million things going on with this. This fascinates me for reasons that have nothing to do with jewelry. But Claudine, thank you very much for joining this afternoon. As always, before we get into the subject du jour, we talk about pizza. And the reason for that is Long Island is so diverse, 126 different little towns. One thing that every town has in common is a pizza place. And Long Islanders will drive past pizza places to get to a really good pizza place. So we're in the process of putting together a really good database of good pizza on Long Island. Go.
As a family, I would say the one pizza place in Rocky Point that we all agree on is Caruso's on Broadway.
Caruso's on Broadway, yes. All right.
And we have several in the area, and you know, one of my sons will like this other one, but for everyone, we all like Caruso's.
Now, you have guests coming in from out of town, you want to show off Long Island and really hit them some good Long Island pizza. Where do you bring them?
I think we would probably go to Caruso's.
Okay. Yeah. It's on Broadway?
It's on Broadway in Rocky Point.
Excellent. Okay, we haven't had that one yet. We've had a few repeats, but that's good. It's good to know. All right, so Claudine, now you and I, we've known each other a while. We've seen each other like twice in the last 15 years, but thanks to the beauty of modern technology. So I know you're very internet savvy, and you're a writer by trade, and you're a communicator. So I was kind of surprised, but not surprised, that you wrote a book about beading bracelets. Tell us a little bit about bracelets and beading and how you got into that area.
I've always been kind of crafty and needed that kind of outlet with 3 kids and working all day and, you know, writing technology. It can sometimes be very dry. And so I like having that outlet. And one day I went into Michael's craft store and they just started putting in all their beads, and I saw shiny crystals, and right away I was very interested.
Okay.
So I started doing some real minor stuff, and then I started looking in the libraries and finding patterns for more difficult work, and it just became, it's a hobby that went amok.
I was going to say, so it kind of started out as a hobby, just like a diverse, get your mind off of all the other stuff that you were doing, and it became a whole thing.
Right. And so my neighbor across the street, she worked for the library, and she said, you could teach classes on this.
Classes on
making jewelry.
Okay.
And so I said, all right, well, to avoid copyright issues, and the library said, well, you have to have it done in 2 hours. And I thought, well, I've been writing instructions for 20 years. I'll just write my own patterns. So I started writing my own patterns and then going to libraries and teaching people how to make the jewelry. And as time went on, it kept going and going. I was involved in Twitter just for another kind of aside.
Okay.
A book agent was following me on Twitter. And then I got to know her. It sounds really bad, like when I say this, but I've met a lot of people through Twitter in real life. And I know we tell kids not to go meeting people that you've met online. But one day she sent me a message and she said, hey, I'm going out to Riverhead, meet me for lunch. I said, all right. And so I went out to meet her for lunch and we're chit-chatting and very kind of, and then she just looked at me and said, don't you want to write a book? And I said, yeah. And she said, write me a book proposal. And that's how it all started. And she said, you've been writing for 20 years, you're making these bracelets, you're writing patterns, write me a book.
So you basically combined 3 of your passions, writing. Now you had a technical writing background, but you still enjoyed the process.
Right.
Again, you're very internet savvy. I mean, you were in there from almost day one, just learning how all these different things worked and getting your message out. I believe you had a company called Ink Free Media. That's how we first met. So you've really embraced social media before it was even anywhere near what it is today. And then you had a hobby of making bracelets with beads. And you talk about patterns. I guess anytime you make a bracelet through beads, there's a pattern involved, like you would make a dress from a pattern?
Yeah, it's exactly the same idea, or like a recipe or anything like that, where there's this kind of jewelry that I make is very specific. There's, it's not free form, and there's steps, and so for me it was perfect because that's all I've been doing.
Now,
all these years.
do you make the jewelry to sell, or how did that evolve?
I do make the jewelry to sell, mostly because there's so much of it now that it doesn't look so good. I have a lot of jewelry in my house.
Oh, okay.
So,
but you started out just kind of making it for
making
yourself,
it as
and
a
your friends
hobby.
liked it, and said, "Can you make one of those for me?"
Right, and then it got to the point where my mother was like, "Please stop, no more jewelry." So, where else? What am I going to do with it all?
Right.
And I found Etsy, which is a website that's devoted to the handcrafted item.
And it's etsy.com. Okay.
Yes. And it's all, it can be just about anything that is handmade. They also accept items that are the supply or the item or vintage. I think it's 20 or 25 years. So if people sell tinker toys or clothing, a lot of old clothing, shoes, all kinds of stuff.
So it's almost like an electronic thrift shop, maybe, or that part of it.
That part,
the vintage.
But really, the push is for handmade, and it's for the people that are like me. You've got people that are either knitting sweaters, sewing clothes. I have friends that make handmade handbags and makeup cases, all kinds of things. And there's glass blower. I mean, there's some really amazing stuff.
How big a market is the handmade? Is it growing? Is it a lot of people just working on it? Generally
I
speaking.
wouldn't know the total real numbers, but there's a big push for handmade. If you're going to a website like Etsy, you're looking for a handcrafted item. You know it's going to be more money than if you just went to Kohl's or if you just went to, some like mass marketer, because they can make things much faster, much cheaper, and you can. But if you want something that somebody made for you, then you're going to go to Etsy.
Well, and what I know about this, we've already exhausted, but there's a market or there's a desire to have something that nobody else has to wear something. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's unique. It was made by a person. If you like that kind of thing, then that's going to be your draw. You're going to want to go and support that person that's, making things in their basement and they're like working.
So the Etsy viewer, the person going to the Etsy website is going to be looking for something that her friends or his friends are going to say, "Wow, where'd you get that?"
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, what a sense of style they have. I've never seen that before.
Right, because it's unique, or you don't want the same thing that everybody else has. You want something special, or it could be anything. There's people that are making wooden flower boxes. There's people that are making. There's this one guy that I follow that he's in Israel and he makes these unbelievable glass chandeliers, and he ships them all over.
Wow. So if you're looking to buy somebody something really special, like as a gift, something that really they know they're not going to get from somebody else, that would be a good example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do it there.
And it runs the gamut between jewelry and clothes.
The last time I looked, just in my area in jewelry, I think there's maybe 15,000 stores.
Wow.
It's tremendous.
Wow.
And then, so you have your own shop. It's
Okay.
yours. You customize it. It looks like you. It's whatever you want to, do. They really give you a lot of freedom. They're great for the seller. They really support the seller.
Well, let's talk about this. The process, the Etsy process. Is it easy? Is it user-friendly? How'd you get involved in that? And I understand you teach a class in that. So
right.
Why would you need a class? Walk us through that a little bit.
Because sometimes people are apprehensive. They're worried about why do they want my username? Why do I have to have a username? Why do I have to put a credit card number in? Things like that. For me, I found it very easy, but sometimes people think it's hard, but it's really just an anxiety thing.
Okay.
And so when I teach these classes in various libraries, I put it up on the big screen and I literally click them through and say, look, I'm going to show you, this is not so bad.
So you take out the fear of the unknown, the intimidation factor.
Right. And and then there's other fears where they're like, well, how do I get paid? How do you know, things that really don't have anything to do with Etsy directly.
Right.
But they're afraid, am I going to get paid? What if it gets, what if it's lost in the mail? And so they just want to know, because I do it, what's happened to me? Has anything bad happened? And you kind of discuss all those issues,
And this website's been around for a while, so sounds almost like, I don't want to say a lifestyle, but a culture.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And like I said, they really support the seller. They have tremendous amount of help on the site.
Okay.
They do live feeds like this where they have instructional, for sellers. They feature somebody every week. It's a nice site.
Do they? If I was interested in a specific kind of, let's say, a homemade lamp or a scarf, I mean, can I go on there and have them notify me that something's been posted, or do you really just have to kind of hit it pretty regularly?
I think you would need to, you would just need to be searching.
Okay.
I would be shocked if you didn't find something.
Right.
I really would. There's millions of items on that.
Do people, they've had like specials or anything like that, or?
Oh yeah, you can do, there's people that do sales, they'll do, there's all kinds of promotions going on. Etsy does promotions as well. You can get gift cards for people, so if you think, well, I want to give them something, but I don't know if they really like that, but I know they like handmade, so I'll give them an Etsy handmade gift card, and then they can go to any shop on Etsy. So it doesn't have to be like, I can sell gift cards, but Etsy itself sells gift cards, so you don't have to just come to my shop. You could go to any shop and you can buy something. So,
do you? The class you teach is how to sell products through Etsy, or how to really kind of find what you're looking for?
It's really more about selling, and there's so many people that are looking for a way to either they're like me, where they have created so much that they really just, I joke that it's a way of subsidizing my habit now.
Right.
If I sell a bracelet, the first thing I do is take that money and go buy more beads. So, it's just one of those.
I got to tell you, this morning, I forget where I was driving past, saw a sign for a store. It said the world's most exciting bead store. Now, who knew?
It's a huge market.
Well, no doubt.
I'm telling you.
I'm not knocking the market.
No,
I just didn't know that you could.
I
didn't know you could put exciting and bead in the same sentence. That's all.
No, I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big. I really had no idea until I started getting into it.
Well, a friend of mine, we had a block party over the summer, and she was telling me there's a knitting society on Long Island, and she was the president that year.
Oh, really?
It was a challenge.
Yeah.
Because the knitters are very serious.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea of the handmade, homemade stuff, I think, you see shows like American Pickers and Storage Wars where there's that appreciation for vintage. If I'm the kind of person who likes hitting garage sales and things like that, or going antiquing, and I find something, they can turn around and possibly sell it.
Absolutely. That's what I get a lot of those, a lot of retired people that'll come to the classes, and that's what they're doing, is they're going to different, and they see something, they know, I had that when I was a kid, that's going to be worth some money, and they'll grab it, and then they put it on Etsy to sell it there.
Now, what if I had maybe one or two things around the house that I thought might be of value? Can I just put something, or do I need a store?
No, well, you have a store, it becomes yours.
Okay.
There's no charge to have a store.
Right.
You only pay per item that you put up.
All right, so only pay for what you sell.
Right.
Which you wouldn't be able to sell anyway.
Exactly.
Outside of having strangers come to your house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they look at it initially and they'll say, oh, so they're taking a percentage of the sale. They charge you 20 cents to list the item, but it sits there for months for free. And people, they kind of grumble and they go, oh, well, they're taking a cut of this, that, and the other thing. But if you created your own website and then tried to get people to come to it,
right,
forget it.
Well, I'm even thinking about how much better it would be than having a garage sale.
Absolutely, because you're not, like, I used to do craft fairs and things, and I would, I'm dragging all my stuff there, dragging tables. You sit there all day. Now I've paid a fee to sit there.
Right.
And you just hoping that you clear, at least, get your money back.
And if there's
but I've sat there all day.
You get hit with a rainstorm, you got to buckle up and get out. Yeah.
Exactly, and now I've made nothing. But with this, selling on Etsy, I can make it, I put it in the closet. If it sells tomorrow, great. If it doesn't, I wear it.
Do you have like a time frame? Well, 3 months up, I'm putting it on.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I'll list anything, for the right price. I mean.
But it seems like I was saying, you kind of took a hobby,
yes.
and in order to be able to justify spending more time on that hobby, you turned it into a revenue stream.
Right.
Where you get the best of both worlds. You're making some extra money, you're learning, and you're taking advantage of your many talents.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked out.
Right.
you know, my kids used to get annoyed if I, you know, wanted to go look at beads, and now I'm like, hello, you know, look what mommy did now.
Well, it's got to be, we hosted one garage sale in my house. We had everything on the front lawn. I wasn't happy about it to begin with, to be honest. And some guy came over, it was like 15 minutes, 20 minutes before we were even supposed to start. And he's kicking at the stuff. And he says, this is crap. I said, of course it's crap. If it wasn't crap, it wouldn't be on my front lawn, you know? So we never went to garage sales. But I could see taking stuff that you really like or that you see value in and putting it on there and seeing what it's worth, right?
Right.
Do you ever find anything like really cool, like you can't believe was for sale? Or like what's the favorite thing you ever on Etsy that you saw or you bought?
Well, I haven't bought, but I really like the, like I said, the glass chandeliers. But he's in Israel, and just to ship the thing, first of all, the chandeliers are very expensive.
Okay.
But they're beautiful, and then, you know, shipping is expensive also. But you can, Etsy also has a sort of social media.
Okay.
So you can follow people as you would with Twitter or anything else. And so whenever he lists a new chandelier, it'll pop up in my screen, and I can see all the new stuff that he's got.
Cool.
So that's cool.
And the jewelry, how's that going? I mean, you selling more and more? Or how, you having fun with that or what?
I'm having fun making the jewelry. I enjoy it. My biggest sale is selling the patterns.
Okay.
I sell the patterns.
You know, you write the patterns yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because, you know, the technical writer in me knows how to write instructions. That's all I've done. And then I do the illustrations because that's all I've done for 20 years. So those I think I sell more of than the actual jewelry itself. But I need the jewelry to display it so that people can see what it would look like if they made it.
Wow.
And
do you do stuff like if somebody came to you with an idea for a bracelet? Do you do things like that?
Yeah, actually, that happened with my book. When I first got the book deal, I went out to dinner with some friends to celebrate, and she had on a gold bangle, and it was in a certain design. And she said, "You know what? I think you should make something that looks like this." And I looked at it and I go, well, I don't know. She goes, you could do that. She goes, you should make something that looks like this, but with beads. And I remember just staring at it and I thought, all right. And it was kind of like a mission.
Right.
And I did, and then it wound up in the book, and it came out pretty cool. I really liked it, you know, but I would not have thought of that unless she said, make this.
Well, and just in wrapping, I mean, how do you come up with the ideas for different kinds of bracelets?
It's tough. Sometimes I see something. I was coming home from the Adirondacks and I saw this sign, this giant sign in Tupper Lake that looks like a basket. They had it woven. And as I was driving, I was looking at it and I thought, oh, that'd be a cool bracelet. And so I tried to do that at home. But then sometimes, you know, I'll see existing jewelry, like I said with my girlfriend, where she had the gold one.
Okay. And
then I'll think, you know, how could I make something like that? And then there's times where I'm just sitting there with beads and saying, what could I do with these? And I just start playing with them to figure it out.
All right, so if you're interested in the beaded bracelets, the book is called The Beaded Bracelets. Very clever,
Very
as you pointed out.
Yeah.
But I'm fascinated. You took your passions, you turned it into really more than a hobby. It's a revenue stream, and making it worth your while. If someone's looking for more information, if they want more information about bracelets or Etsy or any of this stuff, where would they go?
They can go to my website, which is my name, Claudine Jalajas. The last name is Jalajas. It's also on like Amazon or Barnes & Noble. But if they Google my name, they'll find me. Okay. And I'm on Twitter as Claudine MJ. That might be easier to find.
Right.
And then you can get to my, and then I list all the classes that I'm doing. A lot of libraries will do reciprocal. You don't have to be a patron. You can come to the class.
Somebody finds you on Twitter and then they can stay abreast of, or your Facebook. You can really just stay apprised of all your different events and things that you're doing.
Absolutely.
And learn more about this. Considering I know absolutely nothing about it, and this has been absolutely fascinating, Claudine. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Good luck with the book and all the other endeavors that you're involved in.
Thank you.
I want to thank you, too, for joining us this afternoon. My name is Michael Watt, a.k.a. Mr. Long Island, and this has been another episode of Mr. Long Island's Search for Truth and Beauty.